So this is the LeveragePoint website. When we click log in here, we're going to be actually brought to our demo area. So what we see here are a series of published value propositions. These are our demo ones, but this is similar to what a salesperson would see if you became a LeveragePoint customer. And each value story or value proposition is targeted to a particular offering or a solution. And it may be targeted to a region of the world or a particular vertical. We're gonna grab the TEI one, but these are all customizable as well. And so you'd be able to, as a salesperson, grab a blessed and a published value story. And if I clicked on that, this is what we would see. So it would open up. So this is a Forrester Total Economic Impact Research white paper, essentially, on a solution from ConnectWise. So ConnectWise is a IT services company. They essentially provide a platform that helps companies handle and expand in terms of resolving tickets and customer support. So let's take a look at the Forrester TEI. So I have it attached to the value story here, and I'm just going to open it up. Now, we did mention IDC, so I opened up one of those as well. So this is a typical IDC. They call it business value. This is for Red Hat and their product OpenShift. So we can see here, this is a document with a lot of good data in here. They've split it out typically into benefits and to costs, and then usually there's some type of a summary towards the end. What we see with the I'm just going to open this up here. Oh, I think I lost it. Oh, no, there it is. What we see with the Forrester version is something somewhat similar. Obviously, it looks a little bit different, but what we see are different sections. So we have kind of an overview. What are the key challenges that ConnectWise helps companies address? What are some of the business impacts that they have? Then it's typically a list of the benefits, and those are quantified. A list of the costs that come with the solution, and usually it's costs outside of just paying for the solution itself. There's going to be additional costs of implementation or training, etc. And then there's usually some financial summary. So we've taken this, let's see how many pages this is. I think it's about 20. So we've taken this 22-page document, and we've created a digital interactive value story from it, which looks like this. So this is the LeveragePoint platform now. So I'm going to start clicking through, but maybe I'll actually start to make some edits early on. So we're going to pretend this is being presented to LeveragePoint Innovations. And I'm going to turn off the hiding sales changes for the time being. So this is essentially what we've done is taken this from the Forrester report and split it into a series of tabs. You can think of these tabs as a PowerPoint slide, but the difference is twofold. One is that this is not a product presentation. This is a value story. And there is a value model that is driving the calculations in this, which we'll see, the impact of that in a moment. So similar to the Forrester report, we start with identifying some of the key challenges and some of the requirements of the prospects that ConnectWise is speaking with. What are they looking for? They need to be able to better address their rapid growth and more customers and being able to support their customers. So then we break it into the business impacts. So this particular Forrester report had 7 potential business impacts. A lot of these are around productivity, but a business impact can be both a revenue improvement, it can be a cost reduction, and it's always unique to the offering. So whether you're selling a pound of chemical, whether you're selling a tractor, in a field that is more effective than a previous version, they all have benefits, and most of those benefits can be quantified. So we can start to see the benefits here. We can actually even turn off benefits if maybe they don't apply in a particular situation. But we'll leave them all on for now. Then we get into an assumptions slide, which starts our conversation with the prospect. So here, we start with a baseline set of data, as I mentioned, and we might have a revenue of 20 million for this particular customer. Oops, I think I put in 12 million. And maybe they have more engineers, so maybe they have double the engineers that this case study does. So as we start to change the inputs to this information sort of ripples throughout the presentation. So then I can give an overall summary of the benefits. So these mirror the 7 benefits that we saw on the previous slide, but now we've started to put dollars, or it can be euros or any other currency that you have, into each of the benefit areas. And we also have ways to display the data. So currently this is over a 3-year horizon. We could do a 4 or 5 year if we wanted to. And there's other ways that we can change the data as well. But we see here, when this is all added up, we have a total benefits to the customer over a 3-year horizon of almost $6 million. So that's a significant. Now we can dig into each benefit individually. And this is where, as a salesperson, I want to reference maybe what other customers have seen. Here we've actually taken some of the quotes directly out of the report, so we're referencing those. But I can also start to change some of this data. So, if the customer thinks we're being too aggressive, we can go back and forth on this and start to change the information based on the conversation that we're having. Again, this ripples throughout the presentation. So if you make a change with one of the numbers, it will change anywhere that feeds into a calculation. So it does the same for each of the other 6 benefit areas. And I won't go through these just because of time, but each of these can be set up however we want. So we can have video here, we can have audio, we can quote customers as we have here, and the look can look exactly like either the report that you have, or it can look exactly like your own collateral. So once we've kind of dug into each of the areas, and by the way, if someone has a question about how we might have calculated something, we can click on the result and we can show the calculation and how that's done. And here we have the value calculation that was done previously, the inputs and the outputs, and this can be shown and discussed if the prospect is interested in sort of how the math was done. So finally, we get into kind of the summary stage of this, where we're looking at a payback, we're looking at a return on investment, we're showing the benefits, we're showing the costs over time, and getting the net and showing a payback for someone who has to be able to justify that within a certain period of time. We also kind of show the overall summary of the value that we're providing. And you'll notice we really haven't talked about price yet. This is something that we could include in here. We chose not to in this example, but certainly if you wanted to introduce price, you can do that. We actually do that as we get towards the end of the presentation. So this is a typical waterfall chart that you may or may not have seen something similar before. We see here the 7 areas of benefits. They're all displayed and on top of each other, sort of totaling up. We then see the additional cost. There's an implementation cost over 3 years, there's a training cost, and there's an ongoing management. And these numbers are driven from that initial screen. So this is based on the number of employees you have, the number of engineers you have, the number of HR and salespeople that you have. So these numbers will change based on the particular situation at your company. I can also then finally kind of summarize with a value analysis. And here we have for this company called LeveragePoint Innovations, there are significant benefits to adopting the ConnectWise platform. There are additional costs that come with that, which we've discussed, those items in red in the previous slide, training and implementation. There's a cost to the solution itself. And so over 3 years is almost a $900,000 cost, but that is dwarfed by the benefits that this company can receive. And so we sort of do the summary, we do the math here, and we now have the value back to the customer, which is pretty significant. And we can see based on the price of the solution, and after we've summarized everything up, the value back to their business is almost $5 million. So this could potentially be a great project for someone to move to the executive suite. Say we have this potential solution for a lot of our problems. We've done the math, we've analyzed it with the help of, in this case, ConnectWise, and we want to move ahead with a purchase, and we'd like to have you take a look at this presentation. What you can do here as well is once you have changed those numbers, you can save this. So now we have a LeveragePoint business case that ConnectWise can save off to the cloud, and then we can actually export it. So if I export it to a PDF or PowerPoint, this will now essentially take screenshots of the ConnectWise value proposition, and I can then send this off to my my champion or my internal proponent, and they can then hopefully send this along to their management or to an executive who kind of wants to see a lot of this math and the numbers done for them. And so if I open this up here, I get to see essentially everything we went through, but all the changes that we made are incorporated into here as well.